One of the hidden struggles that a lot of people have is this overwhelming sense of anxiety that can creep on us from time to time. I have a natural aversion, Josh, to getting labeled, I guess it is.
Yeah.
Me too. And in doing that, having this aversion, I sometimes ignore realities because I don't want to be cliche. I don't want to, everybody's suffering from this or, so forth. So
I do this too.
I
totally do.
So I ignore real things in my life. I just got back from 2 weeks in Africa. And it's stressful when you traveled in a third world country. A drive that would take 2 hours here will sometimes take 6 or 7 there, and they just beat you up when you get there. And the food is not the same, and just everything's different. Plus public speaking and working with translators and all this kind of stuff. And then always when you're away from home, that's when stuff goes wrong.
Yeah. No kidding.
The dog gets sick, the dryer goes out, or flood happens, and then you have to catch up on all the work you left behind. So there's always that. And I hadn't been home 48 hours, and my mind plays tricks on me all the time. It drives me crazy. But I woke up early in the morning because of jet lag, and I'm laying there and I'm having trouble catching my breath. And I'm having, like what felt like chest pains. And I'm thinking, oh, great. I don't have time for a heart attack. I've had one. I know what they feel like. This feels similar. Yeah. And then it dawned on me. It's anxiety. And
Were you having a panic attack? Were you having an anxiety attack?
I don't even know the difference between an anxiety attack or a panic attack.
Attack, you usually actually feel like you're going to die. An anxiety attack tends to be less intense. But there are a lot of commonalities of symptoms, but there are a few symptoms that only one or the other have. Yeah.
So this would have been an anxiety attack because I didn't feel imminent demise heading for me. Yeah. But at the same time, it's quite frankly, it's really uncomfortable for me to admit that. And the reason I'm doing that is because
If it helps, I have also had anxiety attacks and panic attacks.
Yeah, and I've had them since I was in my 30s.
Really, it's terrible.
Yeah.
Not everyone has them, and if you haven't had them, it's worse than you think.
Yeah. I mean, for me, sometimes it used to involve adrenaline rushes where I could hear my heartbeat in my ears and palpitations. And
I'll stop breathing for a while.
Yeah. So these being that case, I hear a lot of people who are, they don't even know what they're experiencing at the moment, but I'm like, oh yeah, man, you're getting some anxiety going on there. Yeah. And there's so much in the world that's anxiety.
Would cause that.
Yeah. Whether we're talking about the wars, whether it's Gaza or Ukraine or Taiwan or Iran. Yeah. Or even when you think about the places that are just suffering due to governmental dysfunction, Myanmar, Cuba, the genocide of believers in Sudan and Nigeria that are going on that's basically off the radar because there's so many other things that are going on. Yeah. The uncertainty of the economy, the political, as we record this, it'll be over by the time you hear this, but we're in the government shutdown.
It may or may not be over by the time
well, the next one may be, the next one may be there. Yeah, so.
Hopefully.
The turmoils in churches. A lot of churches are in turmoil right now. There's family turmoil I hear about all the time. And this day, and by day I mean this age, this period of time, is a day when anxiety. It's really weird, Josh, because I feel guilty feeling anxious whenever we live in this delightful, wonderful, incredible world where I can get on a tube with a couple of wings and a couple of rocket engines and be on the literal other side of the globe in 16 hours.
Sure, but also you are aware of all the terrible things happening all around the world, which is not something that our minds were designed to handle.
Boy, that's really true. Our minds were not designed to handle the information over. And one of the reasons why I think I had the anxiety attack when I got back? Why? Because for 2 weeks, I was shut off from the world. And now, I could have gotten to it. I chose not to.
Yeah.
I never turned the TV on, and I could have gotten CNN International and BBC.
That must have taken a lot of control for you.
In fact, I was busy, and so I just didn't have time.
So was this after you did you take a bunch in and then you got anxious, or is it before?
No, I took a bunch in.
Interesting.
Yeah. I called it getting caught up.
Yeah, and it resulted in not sleeping,
and just this low level concern, and should we not be concerned about things? I mean,
right. That's what I'm trying to figure out. It seems like we can't be completely asleep to all this stuff, but then how do we balance it with?
And I was thinking about this over lunch, and as I was prepping this morning. There is a danger of empathy burnout and empathy overload.
Yes.
That we have to be careful. I have a friend who was a pediatric oncologist. To me, that is the most horrible job ever. Your job is basically trying to save the lives of children with cancer, and your success rate could be below 50% depending on the kind of cancer.
Yeah.
So your job every single week is going to be to walk into your office with a couple of parents and looking at them and saying, your child has cancer, they may not live, or to say, we've done all we can, there's nothing more we can do.
Yeah.
And to try to explain that to a 7-year-old, oh my goodness, I don't know understand how people who work in major homicide or sexual assault places in police departments handle what they see. And then they got to go home and they got to play with their kids and love their spouse. Mm-hmm. I don't know how they do it. And sometimes it's that way for pastors. In one day you can deal with the most glorious things of someone making spiritual progress and the most horrific things of abuse and sin and crime and all kinds of things. And how do we keep that without producing this constant thread of anxiety? Yeah. So some of this may be self-diagnostic and therapeutic because I can't tell you I'm a master at this.
Yeah.
But I can tell you that I believe there's some solutions. Here's the first thought is this. We have to gain or regain control of our thinking. And this is where I really struggle because my brain is a very busy place.
Yes. Yes. I feel that.
Yeah. And my brain is also a very negative place.
Yes.
And it's really weird. Like I can do or say something that foolish or feels foolish or sounds foolish to me, or maybe be taken the wrong way. And I will replay that in a loop in my head for days.
Oh, for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, what that does, it triggers all the other stupid things I've said. And so we go down.
Right.
We go on vacation to the worst parts of Dan's existence. And the only way we can break that is to eventually regain control of what we're allowing ourselves to meditate upon, to think upon. 2 Corinthians 10:5 says, we demolish arguments and every pretension that sets itself up against the knowledge of God, and we take captive every thought to make it obedient to Christ. That verse has two sides to it. One of them, I think, is, we're demolishing arguments and pretensions that come up against the knowledge of God in a public sense. But I got to tell you, I find it far easier to deal with the public issues than the private issues that I deal with.
Meaning what? Say more.
Okay, so if someone is making accusations about my faith publicly, challenging, my spiritual beliefs, my role or whatever, I can very quickly, it rolls off my back easier.
Yeah.
I'm ready to give an answer. I don't feel like I'm defending myself. I feel like I'm defending truth. So it becomes a little easier for me. But when it gets personal in my head is where I have a hard time controlling it. I'm got really thin skin. I know that sounds really odd to someone who makes their living by, saying
things. No, I'm the same way too.
Yeah. And so someone will say something critical to me or unkind to me, and here comes the loop. And so forth. So in order to stop that, I have to do what the Bible says and to set itself up against, watch out for those things that set itself up against what I know to be true about God, the knowledge of God. And God does not love me because I'm smart. God does not love me because I'm a pastor.
Yes.
God does not love me because I perform well. God does not love me because I've done enough good things that I deserve this transactional equality.
True.
But rather, God loves me because he's good.
Yeah.
And he does not see me as a sinner. He sees me as a son. And so even when I do something stupid or do something wrong, or I could have phrased something better, he patiently loves me and convicts me and corrects me. But he doesn't do so because he's trying to destroy me. He does so because he wants me to be better. He wants me to be more like him. He wants me to be an accurate reflection of he who loved me and died for me. Yeah. And when I can recapture that thinking, what it does, it eliminates the positive, but it eliminates the negative loop, and it replaces it with a true reality. So, and again, I think there's a certain dismissive mentality that we can sometimes bring to superintending our own mental health that says, oh, well, that's trite, that's stupid, that's, sometimes the greatest profundities are wrapped in the simplest truths. And when we stop and get back to who is God and what is he about, what is his character is, and how do I relate to him? What is my relationship with him involve, and what are the good consequences for that? It is part of the process of taking captive those thoughts that are making me disobedient to Christ, to believing the lies of the accuser, to believing the worst things that I can conjure up. And I'm preaching on this on Sunday. Again, the sermon will be over by the time you get this, but I'm preaching on failure. And as I was prepping for this and studying it, I look at the life of Peter. Peter was consistently doing and saying stupid things. I can relate to Peter so deep.
He was very reactive.
He was very reactive, when Jesus was washing the feet of the disciples and he said, don't do that to me. And he goes, well, if I don't do it to you, you don't have any part of my kingdom. He said, well, then wash me all over. Right. Just like boom, boom, extremes.
He's the one getting out of the boat. He's cutting off a dude's ear.
He's fishing naked. He's doing all this kind of weirdo stuff. But perhaps the most defining moment of his life before he went into ministry, full time after Christ's ascension, was when he denied Christ by hanging out with the enemy and cursing and denying that he knew them. And what was Jesus' response to him? He basically had a reconciliation breakfast for him, and he did it real subtly. He said, hey, Peter, come on over here. Let's talk. Peter's avoiding him like the plague because he's feeling guilty. And he says, Peter, come on over here. Let's chat a little bit. He goes, do you love my sheep? Let's start there. Do you love my sheep? And he did ask the question not once, not twice, but 3 times. And then by the end of the conversation, they're good. They're good. He said, look, I'm not done with you. I'm not throwing you away. You did something stupid. Stop it. But here, let's move forward. And that's the way we would treat our children. That's the way we would treat our friends, hopefully. If not, you're not a very good friend. And that's how God treats us. So grab those thoughts and control our thinking. Number 2, and you mentioned this earlier, is limit exposure to media that causes anxiety. And I will tell you, it is very hard and very important. Very important. And I've lived it, recently I've lived it in the past, but I see its effect on people all the time. How many times do I engage in conversations with people I care about and I love? And what it is basically is a revisitation of all the things we've scrolled in the last 24 hours. Did you see? Did you read? Did you hear? And sometimes because we're a little embarrassed about the amount of time we spend scrolling, we won't admit to it that, yeah, I got this off Facebook, I got this off Instagram, I got this off TikTok. But that's where we're getting it. That's where we're getting it. And you can call it doom scrolling, but it's very easy. This is gross. Okay, I'm just warning you. I read a medical report a few weeks ago. No, it wasn't on TikTok. I don't even have TikTok. It wasn't on Facebook, okay? It was on some news conglomerate site or aggregate site. I follow it. That there's a big problem with men and hemorrhoids.
Really?
Yes, because they're sitting on the toilet, scrolling on their phones.
Oh, that's hilarious. They're spending too long.
And the incident of hemorrhoids in males is apparently skyrocketing.
Only males?
That was what the study was about.
We're the only ones hanging on the bathroom for a long time? I don't buy that. Maybe we already have a higher propensity. I don't know anything about that. I haven't.
But I mean, let's be honest. It's very easy to lose track of time while we're flipping up the next article on our phone. But I don't know that we really appreciate. I would just say this too: if you're having anxiety, one of the things that you could possibly do is to experiment by saying, you know what, I'm only going to do this. I'm only going to be on my phone an hour a day, 30 minutes a day, or maybe go for a fast of a week or 2. And iPhones have gotten really good at letting you do this. Like they have created a lot of like screen time kinds of controls. Yes. Not very many people are necessarily using them, but if you want to control yourself, there are ways to do that. It'll shut you down, and it should. Let me talk just to the boomers, if I could, and maybe some of the Xers that I'm talking, because the demographics tell us this. And I just read some stuff this morning, and I did read this on the internet, so take it for what it is. The number of people of 40s and above who are basically living their day with Fox News on.
Oh, I've heard this too.
Yeah. Is absolutely, they're not watching anything on TV
terrible.
Except Fox News.
This is terrible.
Yeah. And I had a friend who discovered how much their spouse was watching Fox News when the TV went out and went black, but the emblem of the Fox News in the corner was burned into the TV. So even when the TV was off, you could still see the emblem, the shadow of the emblem.
Oh man! See, like, okay, so here's something. Like, I remember when we got our first sort of flat screen TV, like it was a thing where like if you leave this on like too long with the wrong kind of thing, like then like that can happen. I remember like that even happening if it like we actually left like Netflix on for too long, just that logo might be like,
well, that's why they had the idea of screensavers.
Exactly. So I think they've kind of figured that out. I think I think unless you have a pretty old TV, like you have to read. This is a very significant.
This was several years ago that this anecdote, but I if it still happened, I think a lot of us would be alarmed at what we do have burned into our screen.
Should be.
Yeah. And so we need to be just mindful of that and take corrective action. The third thing is this, and I think this is super important. Algorithms are not reality.
Yes.
They are not reality.
They are just algorithms.
I talked to a liberal friend the other day, and he was telling me about, he read this, and I said, how odd, because I have not seen any of these. And this is what actually triggered some thought. So I actually began clicking on some sites that I would not normally click on. And next thing I know, I'm getting article after article, reel after reel after reel, that with a different point of view that was the antithesis. So let me just say this. Meta, Google, Alphabet, whatever, X, all the big super conglomerate companies are not your friend.
Yep.
They are trying to sell you and your habits to the highest bidder.
Yep.
And they will feed you toxic poison to get your money. They don't care whether you're a liberal or conservative, a Christian or an atheist. They do not care anything about you except to separate you from every possible dollar that they can get. They're finding out your habits, your interests, your likes, and you need to be aware that that can affect your mental health, how you view the world, how you engage with friends.
It will affect the way that you, I mean, we can't we can't avoid it.
Yeah. And then we end up living in a bubble of non-reality. And we assume that everybody thinks like we do, or we assume that anybody who doesn't think like us is some kind of enemy.
Right.
Opponent, someone to be corrected or changed. And we stop dialoguing and we begin attacking or ostracizing or labeling or one of these other negative things. And eventually, it's exhausting to fight. You know that? It's exhausting to be in an argument. It's exhausting. You know what is refreshing?
At least for most people.
Yeah. And who wants to be friends with somebody who's energized by conflict? I mean, seriously. Yeah. It means you're just a mean so-and-so. Yeah. But is there, have you ever talked to somebody about something of value, of something of significance? And the conversation just kind of breaks into the clearing, breaks into the open. And when you get done, you say, well, that was nice. That was really nice. And we ought to search for those moments. Yeah. Search for those moments.
I would recommend everyone go, if nothing else, go watch the TED Talk by Tristan Harris. Tristan Harris is a super interesting guy. This has kind of become his life mission. He used to be, I think it was Facebook, but it was I think it was Facebook. And he was like on their, I forget what it was called, but it was like the ethics committee or like something like that. It was like, I'm supposed to here to like help keep this ethical. And they got rid of, I think that the whole department basically. Yeah. And since then he created like his own nonprofit, just trying to help. Like, he's like, I know the tricks that they're using. There are all these actual tricks they're using that are tested and meant to keep you on and they know that it's harmful. They won't let their own kids on it.
Yes.
But they're doing this to you, so we at least need to be aware of the things that they do. He's got a lot of great interviews, and like people would be shocked by some of the things that are being done. Tristan Harris.
Tristan Harris.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't think most of us realize how deeply we're being manipulated.
Yeah.
And so I would just caution all of us. Again, we have to be critical thinkers more than any other age in human history.
Yeah.
We have to be saying, where did this message come from?
Yeah.
Was it? And by the way, as AI increases, so much of what you're seeing was not even created by humans.
Yeah.
You can almost tell by the voice, but before long, you won't be able to tell by the voice.
Yeah.
But they're harvesting clips, they're putting voices over it, and they're sending you messages that are intended to cause a response in you that they can harvest. Yep. So
let me add one more thing onto this. I know we're going to probably end up having to split this into two parts talking, but like one more thing, because I was actually just talking about this in a speech the other day. It's like I recommend for almost everybody, like not for people who are like real, like there are some people who are probably so burnt out and depressed that they shouldn't be getting any news. But like for the most people, like certainly better than just having Fox News all the time is follow a balanced news story. So I recommend Tangle all the time. Yeah. Tangle is this awesome e-newsletter, and you're getting voices from both sides every day. And so like for me, like you and I are both in kind of an anxious place these days, and we've talked about that even personally. Like even when I am choosing to not take in news from like TikTok and things like that because I'm like, this is a bad time for me. Ironically, reading or listening to Tangle will often help keep me sane because it is showing me that there are reasonable people on both sides of the aisle because they're the ones being amplified as opposed to like the craziest, weirdest, meanest people.
Yeah, the person that makes us say, "Hey, did you see?"
Right.
Yeah, reasonable people are not usually barn burners. They're usually yeah. You use Tangle, and I've subscribed to it because of your recommendation. I use 1440, which is another. They don't usually give both sides. They just try to give something neutral in the middle. Yeah. And then they have this really fun section that I really love that like will show you the 100 best pictures taken of nature, or just odd trivia stuff. So it always has a section of that every day. But and I never feel anxious after I feel informed. Yeah. And it's slightly entertained, but I never feel anxious afterwards.
That's significant.
Yeah, I don't find myself arguing with it on the TV when it's on.
Yeah.
And I think to me that's a better solution than it is. Like for years I said, well, I'll watch Fox News at this hour, and I'll watch ABC News at this hour, and I'll watch CNN at that. Now, all it did is just make me 3 times as mad.
Yeah, I think all the media companies, the big media companies, are doing this thing of amplifying the worst of both sides. Yeah. I don't know if both are necessarily doing it equally as much, but I no longer would recommend people watch Fox News or MSNBC or CNN. I would be like, find better, more truth-oriented.
Yeah, and if people started giving them their attention and basically their money because of their clicks or whatever, those kind of places would flourish. Yeah, we keep feeding the people that are killing us, and causing us anxiety. Yeah. Very quickly, just a couple more is just avoid unhealthy dialogue and influence. You know what you're not going to change anybody's mind engaging in a debate on the internet. You're just not. It's not worth it. So avoid toxic, I hate that word because it's so overused. I'm sorry, but I'll say it again. Avoid toxic conversations. And I tend to be a little bit of a firebrand. I like to be a bomb thrower. I enjoy debate and lively, spirited conversations. But at some time, you need to know when it's okay to walk away. And also, do you really want to project that? Is that how you want to spend your energy? Particularly at my age, no. The answer to that is no. Let your feet, I think the governor of Utah said, go out and touch some grass. I think that's what he said. And he wasn't talking about Colorado grass, all right? He was talking about, get out and experience life. Hug a baby. Play pitch and catch with your son in the yard. Read a book. Listen to some golden oldies music from your teenage years. Get back connected with some reality. Go for a walk and talk to God. Read a psalm. Listen to some praise and worship music, but disconnect from the stuff that is giving you anxiety.
You know what I did last night? I was at my Airbnb before I had to for one more night, and I was just, I need to unplug from all the chaos of everything, and I'm going to have to do this more. I stumbled upon people reacting to listening to huge songs for the first time. So like a bunch of and I was watching like compilations where it's like here's like 16 of them kind of put together. It's like people hearing "Comfortably Numb" by Pink Floyd for the first time, or like these like
you can do that with me because I've never heard that song.
Oh my gosh, it's the best guitar solo of all. Both of the best guitar solo. Okay, we're gonna after this is over, we're listening to an amazing rock song. That's ironically kind of about Colorado grass, but it's really, really, really good. Okay, so anyway, I found myself actually crying. I was tearing up out of joy, tears of joy, watching other people experience amazing music for the first time and being blown away.
Wow.
And it's like, you know what? That's kind of weird and niche maybe. And it's not going to work for everybody. But for some people who doesn't know that's a thing, like find those things that's like, it's not politics. It's at all. It's just like, just find something it's beautiful. There's something beautiful and human about this.
We've lost our respect for art, I think, and we need to capture it quickly before it goes away through AI. But I used to spend a lot of time in Washington, D.C. I used to lobby for organizations that I represented. And I always would take an afternoon because Washington's not a healthy place. It's just not.
No, it's not.
And I would go to one of the art museums by myself. And I would force myself to sit on a bench across from a great work of art.
That's great.
Just sit there and look for things I'd never seen before.
Nice.
And it was amazing to me to be able to do that. Yeah. Listen to a song and listen for a melody, a harmony, a progression at some point, and say, "Wow, I've never quite
listen to what all the different instruments are doing." If you can try to start, because that's the way like my brain just does that. I'm just automatically like, what are the drums doing? What is the bass doing? What are the keyboards doing? What are the guitars doing? What key are they in? What kinds of things what kind of production? Like that's not what everyone's going to do. But like if you can start just trying to start kind of appreciating what has gone into the music more, that's going to be a good thing.
Yeah, and that reminds me of this, and I'll close with this. At Life Fellowship, right as you hear this episode, within a week of this episode, we're going to be starting a new series called Majesty and Mystery, a fresh look at worship. And I'd really urge you to come to church during that time, to watch us on our YouTube channel, or to find it live streaming, because to me, genuine worship allows you to do that thing. It reminds you to think great thoughts.
Yes.
It removes distractions.
Yes.
It combines the artistry of music and the significance of words.
Yes.
It reminds us of eternal truths.
Yeah.
And today's modern worship in most churches has lost some of the greatness and the majesty and the mystery of ancient worship. So as part of our Ancient Future series, we're going to do both modern and also ancient music during this time. And we're going to try to refresh our souls. That's really what it's going to be about. So I would urge you to do that, Life Fellowship. We're going to stop right here, even though we have some other things we could have talked about. But as always, Josh and I, we could just go on a tear.
We could. Well, we'll be back.
We'll be back. And we hope you'll be back. We hope you'll tell your friends about us. If you would, share us on social media. Anytime you see an episode that you found interesting, you can always write us at lifetalks@lifecharlotte.com. And until next time, thanks as always for joining us here at Life Talks.